Mic check 1, 2. Why are you showing me your chest? Right now.
You're always showing our fans your chest. These days you buy loose shirts, that like the mic just drops the shirt.
No, the mic is heavy. I'm going to be like this the whole time. Welcome to What's the Theory with Joel and Alan. Hey, okay. How are you, Alan?
I'm good. How are you, Joel?
What did you do today?
What did I do today? Today is a Saturday. Hanging out with the kids. Went to check on a client, then came here to my main and favorite client.
That's what you say to all your clients. Anyway, I wish you guys could see what Alan is wearing. In a white shirt, he decided to show his chest. I don't understand what's going on.
It's the weather.
I'm the wrong person to be showing. You should be showing.
You can't advocate for me
your fans
on the streets.
I don't know what you'll do. I don't know what you'll do with people. I don't trust you. Anyway, I was going to make you do a recap, but I don't want you to start crying from here.
Like last time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Anyway, for those of you who've been watching, this series is a series on false consciousness. The first episode, I don't know if they'll be linked somewhere here, but the first episode was breaking down, I guess, the context within which I was trying to explain how someone can get to false consciousness, which we concluded is a way in which people who are being subordinated, who are at the bottom end of society, who are being exploited, whether it be in slave societies, in feudal societies, even in capitalist societies, and how they may have ideas that reinforce their own exploitation. The second episode, we went into, you've been lied to. It was a question of how is it then that people, because the assumption is people are not stupid, they have their own self-interests in mind. But in ways which are counterfactual, you can start to act against your own self-interest. So you start to hustle culture, man, you gotta grind. In some way, it's a perversion of, hard work, but now it's become, if you're not hardworking, you don't deserve to have food. You don't deserve to live. Cost of living is such a weird thing to think about. Like as a human being, there's a cost to you being alive, and if you can't meet that cost, you die. That's crazy. Anyway, and so today's episode, which I'm going to be calling, drum roll please, Capitalism's Lonely Hearts Club. Say it.
Capitalism's Lonely Heart Club.
Lonely Hearts Club.
Lonely Hearts Club.
Yeah.
I'm trying to get an acronym for it. It's like
CL. No, I can't. No, it won't work. Please cut that. Kill this. Anyway, this one is a little bit of a shorter episode because it's going to summarize. I think we've started with the context, then we looked at, I guess, what the social conditioning is, but this is more or less what the result of being in such a society is. Now, I know it's very pastiche for people to comment on capitalism, and I keep trying to remind myself that I need to re-emphasize that I'm not talking about commerce, I'm not talking about business. I'm talking about an ideology that means that there has to be infinite growth, that almost every organization that you encounter is motivated by a certain logic. They will tell you, for instance, that we innovate, we try to make good new products to meet our clients' needs. However, the truth is they have to make money doing that. So if it doesn't make money, but it meets your needs, that's nonsense. That you're not being efficient. And so the ultimate goal means that as more and more of society gets run by that mindset, the more things like healthcare no longer become essentials, they become commodities that you have to buy. Actually, recently, a friend of mine, her brother was missing for about 3 days. And just by the grace of some kind nurse in Mulago, she saw, this guy who had been beaten up, and just said, maybe let me check and put it on some WhatsApp groups and see if people know who this person is. And, after a few hours, it got to her. When she got to the hospital, they thought he was really dead. Like he was in critical condition. And then, they start to treat him, and immediately they're like, money. Like you can say, oh, this person is going to die, it's an emergency. Money. And I remember her just saying that she tried to call the bank to get them to send her, a higher limit. And the bank was like, no, you need to get us a letter from over where. Like every institution she tried to interact with, like if you don't, you're not going to get anything. And it just felt so cold. And even the people around her were trying to, collect money and send it to her. But even there, it's on the, how can I say? We were looking at it as there, but for the grace of God, go I. Like today when I drove to Entebbe, I was just thinking, now if I have an accident on this road, I just have to be fortunate that someone finds me and maybe, hopefully, has the wherewithal to take me to a proper hospital. But my phone will be gone, of course. So the feeling for me is, it gave me this idea of being lonely, yet you're surrounded by people. That you're sort of isolated, that you have to take care of yourself. And usually when I say this, people think I'm over-exaggerating. I don't know if I sound like I'm over-exaggerating. You have to say yes because I'm going to pay you. Anyway, so I wanted to summarize this as the Lonely Hearts Club, but Lonely Hearts in terms of how we've become rugged individuals. So the rugged individualism that, a lot of us live by, it comes with phrases like, no one's coming to save you. You've got to take responsibility for everything that happens to you. All of those things in and of themselves are not necessarily wrong, but they confuse the matter. They confuse what comes before the other. We put the individual before society. And because of that, you are responsible for everything that happens to you. On the extreme side, it ends up with things like manifestation. Now, I know sometimes it's a bit like 11:11, or if you think about it long enough, you're going to make it happen, which I've always read as victim blaming. Because then what are you saying to the guys in Sudan? They just maybe want to say, there's that Dave Chappelle joke, or if you think long and hard enough, things will come to you. It's like, if you want to have a nice sandwich, just think about it, and the universe will come all together to make things work. And the guy was like, shut up, bitch, man. I'm starving. I can't think up a sandwich. Yeah. So anyway, when I thought about that, I came up with like these 5 effects, and that's what I'm going to break down. So the first one that I've seen is that us becoming islands that are responsible for our success or failure means that we are neglecting the importance of collective action and community. So I'm going to send you a tweet, and you put it here. So there's a tweet that Solomon King put out around, let's leave Kampala for like a year and let them fix the drainage. Let's go somewhere, let them fix things, and then we'll come back. There were many likes, and people were saying, yeah, or maybe they'll steal the city, jokes. Then there's just one comment, which I want to highlight, of a guy saying, but why are we waiting for them to fix the thing? Can't we all start fixing our communities together? Like if we started doing it, who's going to stop us? Like if we said, okay, for the next year, we're going to start cleaning up the parks, we're going to start cleaning up drainage, like we're going to take action. And even just reading it, I was just like, that just seems we would sooner wait for for a terrorist act, we'd sooner wait for a new government than for all of us to even try and participate. And I was wondering why. Like I try, like in my building, to attend things, but I don't like people. That's my problem. They can stress you. I'm sitting next to someone and they are like playing loud music from their phone, like little things. And then I noticed that the longer I am not around people who are different from me, the less tolerable I am of their, I guess, peculiarities. Like, what's that guy doing that? Why is that guy doing this? And yet those are the people I need to sort of work with. And then, I guess, I don't know, for you, what do you think you do a lot of collective action, so you're different.
I try. What I was going to say is Solomon's tweet reminded me of us like in a village church very many years ago.
Yeah.
And this pastor had just gone to New York, then he came back. And his solution to fixing Uganda was like, if I become president, I'm going to pack the whole country, take them abroad. Like, if I take everyone and we go like, imagine a whole country tour, like 35 million people. with the leaders and everyone, I'd be like, you see how things are done here. You see how things are done.
Now let's go.
So maybe if we come back, we all have okay, now let's. But I found it really funny.
I think that's how I feel when I go on holiday. I lie to myself, I'll go on a holiday. I come back, I'll be a different person.
Yeah.
I always come back tired.
Yeah, so tired.
Like, nah, I've returned. Back to the stuff. Anyway, for me, the key thing was one, we now value competition, or at least we see life moving through competition versus cooperation. Even when it's at the workplace. Do you know what everyone earns at Digimark? Like, does everyone know what everyone earns?
No, I know, but not everyone knows what everyone earns.
Do you think if people knew, there would be a riot?
Will they, what?
Will there be a riot?
I think so. Not a riot of sorts,
but there will be a bit
of like maybe I may earn way more than some people, but then someone may think like they work more, and then they will be like, "Oh God, man, just gonna come here and sit the whole day and then do this." And so like at that point, when you realize how much valuable someone else's time is, and that can lead up to
yeah. No, I think that even so, I've been in different workplaces where I've only been in one where we used to share our salaries. And for a certain reason, the bands were very clear. But there was still this thing of you're weighed by your salary. Like as much as you say, oh, it doesn't matter how much I earn. Like someone says, good, that guy has come. Give him some tomato sauce, he won't have any. Like there's a certain way in which socially, whether you feel that it's not your personal worth, you know that other people are probably going to judge you that way. And that if you try and collaborate with other guys, like if you try and help them out, there is incentive for you to shine as a performer so that you climb up the ranks. So it's like we're working together, but I need to beat you. And so I feel like we've been atomized. And the more you see how corporations work, like a corporation is nothing more than a group of people hiding behind a legal document. Like they've come say, we have a collective interest, we'll put it here, and then you guys have to work and generate something for us. So you deal with them as one collective, but you're an individual. And I think that strips us of our true power by telling us that you're actually powerful as an individual. I don't want this to sound like I'm saying that there's no importance in you building yourself up, but I think that it's very limited, especially because you break down eventually, or you fail to get some stuff across the line, or when you fail, you will then have to own it. And I think it's also showing up in the mental health crisis. So I was reading that since 2000, the 2000s have seen the highest rates of depression, anxiety, and schizophrenia. And weirdly, it's increasing in people who are younger. And the experience of it is that more or less there is the double bind of I'm not feeling well, but also it's my fault. Like it's a chemical imbalance. Now the chemical imbalance thing it used to add up for me, but what it didn't explain to me was what is causing that chemical imbalance. Because like when you're in love, there's a chemical in you, but something is happening that's causing it. There's some action, there's something that you're interacting with. And I guess maybe the pressure to succeed, then the fact that on average people I think are getting a little bit more money, but their employment terms are a little bit more precarious. Yeah. Like, I don't know anyone who's like, yeah, man, I'm guaranteed. There's always shit will go down. And then after you've lost your job, typically if you have friends who have work, there's this guy's going to start begging. Like, you start to get isolated, so you have to isolate yourself, otherwise you're going to get embarrassed. And I don't know if you've been in that scenario where like, you're either unemployed and you're friends with someone. I remember when I first came back and I didn't have a job, there was the thing that was not said. Man, that guy, are you okay? Like, are you serious? Like, are you looking, like, they would even be like, so are you hunting? Even though you spent the whole day hunting, like, there was this thing of, are you a contributing member of society? And after a while, that can erode your confidence. Like, if I had gotten a job after, like, a few months, it would have started to weigh on me. Like, I would start to doubt myself. Like, am I actually able to do this stuff? And then you start seeing your friends winning at things. Like, I'm happy for you, but your eye is also twitching. Like, I was clever than that guy. How come he's passing? And I think that means you end up having to feed yourself on entertainment. Like, I noticed I'm spending a lot less time on my phone. And a lot of that is you start to become an annoying person when you notice everyone is on their phone.
Someone said it's like the person whose battery has run out looks at other and is like, but you guys are old.
Yeah, you guys, what did you come here to do? You didn't try to interact with it. You guys are antisocial. But it's true. I mean, I started seeing how, like YouTube now is giving me hints about if I'm talking to the audience, I have to say you quite a bit. In a way, it encourages a parasocial relationship. It's to keep people watching. So like all these giant platforms that have been created, I mean, they seem silly. The other day someone said, our souls are on social media. And it sounded funny, but when I thought about it, I thought, yeah, but a lot of your attention is there. Like if they shut off social media, there's some part of you, there's some part, things that you've taken care of, you've built a profile, you've built a following, you've built something there that when it disappears, whatever it was doing for you will also disappear. But it also means that those relationships are transactional. Like every time you're talking to your followers, you're doing it on a transactional platform. They are consuming you as a product, which I've always told you is a very funny feeling, because you're going to be the product.
I see it already, but I've detached myself from that product.
You're going to be there.
But it's like the sole thing you're saying is like everyone left Facebook, but no one deleted the account because you have your like my old pictures up there. My actual 5,000 friends. Like now on Twitter, I'm struggling with the 200, but like. That's why like they left and they don't post, but once in a while they go because there's a piece of them.
And I think that's why also, like when Twitter, when it first started degrading and guys were like, oh, I'm leaving. But you know you can't leave alone. Are we going? Going? So now we're all still there just complaining, waiting for someone to make things go. And then you don't realize that there's no leader. Like there's no one who's going to say like, we go and we all go. And then I think the other piece on top of that is the erosion of the commons. Now, when I was at the mall earlier, and then I saw a sign for no loitering. So I tried to think about what is loitering. It just means you're here and you're not buying something. So like you can't be in public unless you're buying something. It's illegal for you to be around. They're now making park benches in the states that are designed to be uncomfortable for you to sit on for long. So you can't just be around. You're causing riffraff. And as more and more, I didn't talk about it quite a bit, but the enclosure movement, I used to wonder, okay, this is the narrative I keep hearing, that Africa started in poverty and we're like developing over time. So, but the definition of that poverty means that you don't have the amount of money you earn. But if you don't earn, if you're living a subsistence lifestyle, you may not have the material things someone else has, but if you can feed yourself, you can clothe yourself, and you have shelter, you're actually better off than someone who's like in a city without a job. Because if you don't make money, you're done. But someone in the village, as bad as things may be like, well, at least I have some place to sleep. But more and more of that land, at least where I'm from, more and more of that land is being brought up. And when I was in Fort last week, guys were telling me about how about 300, 400 guys have dropped out of school and left to come to Kampala to start making money. But then they come to Kampala, I'm like, to make what money in Kampala? Just like, well, I guess they're going to be border guys. And I think as more and more of that happens, there isn't like a public space where you're going to see all these individuals. So you can actually be in Kampala and you see a lot of guys, but you don't know what their lifestyle is. And I think like first the middle class guys, you know, like when you're like let's say a plane is landing at the airstrip, then you see everyone stopping to watch. I remember I used to sit in the car and my dad would be like, don't these people have somewhere to be? Why are they here? And I'm just like and it's so tempting to think that way, to think like, what's wrong with these people? Instead of what kind of city is it where like all these people can be without a lot to do, or they are always searching for something and we think it's okay because we've succeeded. I think the ideological framing means that we've accepted it. We see it, but we've accepted it. And then the last one is I guess the two things, I remember you should put that clip of me trying to talk about climate change and Prima going, what? I think get the climate change, the change in temperature to under 2 degrees. It looks like we're not. In fact, we're on trajectory to reach 3 degrees.
What?
Which means by 2050. So this is the last thing I'll say. I find it interesting that, there's that quote about there was during the First World War. I'm such a nerd. How can I start a story like that? Anyway, in the First World War, there were battles on 2 fronts, on the Western Front and the Eastern Front, and they kept communicating with each other to see who needs more artillery. And a letter came from the Western Front, the East, saying, "Oh, the situation is it's serious but not catastrophic. Like, we can manage." Then the letter that came back said, "Oh, over here it's catastrophic but it's not serious." And they meant it, I think, tongue in cheek. But they were sort of saying that sometimes things are so bad that you can't bear to think about it, that you just ignore, you just keep going. And one of which is, people keep asking about this skull, for instance. How can I say? My death is impending. It's going to come soon. And whether I decide to accept it or not, it's a fact. But we kind of don't want to think about it. And so if you think about how death is managed in like our society, it's like morgues are hidden away, or you're not supposed to talk about these things, or if you mention it, somehow it's going to happen. Like there's such a fear. And in part, this is an episode for another day, it's because when you die, according to the way we see things, you no longer matter. Either you've gone into heaven, like you've gone off somewhere, and maybe the people who cared about you will maintain your memory for a while. Whereas, like, say in Egyptian society, like you'd actually see giant monuments. Oh, this person died, these were their wishes, and their wishes have an impact on the way life continues. Like, you still have an impact on things. So even when you knew you were going to die, there was a way in which there was another phase you're entering which would have impact. And let me move on to why I think the climate change thing is quite crazy, because I saw Google and Microsoft are now up on their emissions after promising that they were going to reduce them because they have to chase AI. Shell and oil companies are making record profits. At the same time, this year is the hottest it has been on record. Every year is going to be the hottest on record. Like, we are slowly getting into catastrophe, but we can't stop the machine. I've obviously talked about the mental health thing. And for me, really, it's about how it has been privatized. We never asked the political question. And I think I mentioned before, when I went to therapy, the only thing they could never question was, maybe the system you're living in is stressing you out a bit. And perhaps it's not about you having drugs. Like, and also the other issue is the pharmaceuticals make a lot of money from selling those drugs. So I feel like your incentive to then medicalize and pathologize is increased because you're going to be making profits. At the end of it all, what am I saying? One thing that I worry about, which is a contradiction, is I am speaking about this on a podcast, which is on a capitalist platform, and I have to sell it. So by definition, it cannot be radical. It cannot be transgressive. And I think the biggest danger is if we think that by communicating like this, we're doing something substantial. It's only the beginnings of something. It's when you go out there and you actually engage. It's when you connect with people in your community. It's when you take the information you have and try and share it with other people to see if you can get into dialogue. And so that's my request for you guys. If you can do that, you would have made me very happy, and you would have made Alan very happy, and maybe you can buy a shirt with enough material to cover his chest. Any last words?
No last words, sir. Maybe what I would say is that you see how influencers are, right? It's like, there's a new product you're bringing online. Okay, you want our help, you pay us. And what does it do? It helps the skin. Okay, and they promote it. That's what influencers do, right?
Yeah.
And then we are also humans turning into influencers for people who need the help. It's like recently someone gave us something. Oh, help us post this like on your social media, like to get some numbers. Maybe we get like, maybe we also feel like that's all we can do. It's like my platform is my soul. It's like, and retweet to push that message. when you do that, you feel like talking to the 10,000 people is better than actually going and helping 3 or 4 or 5.
Yeah.
So how we transition from that to is...
Well, that was a very encouraging message. Thank you so much for coming to What the Theory, where you're always going to get good vibes. The Lonely Hearts Club.
Yeah.
Please follow, like, subscribe, tell us what you think. And yeah, we'll check you out in a couple of weeks, I think. Right?
Yeah. And what episode is coming next after this?
The next episode is going to be on the authoritarian personality, right? No, there's PPJ.
Yeah, this was a PPJ thing. I was supposed to like jump in.
I forgot.
Let me text Pomola that you failed.
The next episode is PPJ, and there's going to be a special surprise. There's a different order this time round, so I hope you like the format. If you don't, keep it to yourself. Thank you very much.